Peter 1:22. I'm just not going to give you a way out, dear. I want to encourage you to come anyway. We'll love you anyway.
Seeing ye have purified the souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfringed love of the brethren. See that you love one another with a pure heart and fervency.
I remember hearing an illustration that a preacher was preaching and a man was on the back row in a wheelchair, and he kept doing this all through the service, and that was offensive to the pastor. He said, "Why don't that man just wake up or stay home? What's his problem? He can't come to church and stay awake." He kept doing this the whole time. But what the preacher didn't understand, he had a problem that he couldn't help to do that. It was a physical problem that he had, that he could not help himself doing that. And all the pastor was concerned about was him thinking he needs to stay awake, and yet it was a physical problem. What I'm saying is that we need to be careful. To be careful when I'm looking out at you all the time, and I can constantly be saying things in my mind. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Why a certain person's not here? And I can set in judgment on a whole lot of people. But my job is to overlook the physical problems and the mental problems and all the other problems, and ask the Holy Spirit to give us instructions to help us to overcome this. Only the Holy Spirit can do that. But see, what happens is we set in judgment of other people. I remember we lost a girl in our church because you remember when we had a young lady to bring her honorary daughter that was worse than Carlos. Remember that one Wednesday night? And they came to church, and the visitor that was sitting there said out loud, "If I couldn't control my daughter that way, I wouldn't even be in church." She had no business saying that. The girl heard her say that, and she said, "I'll never come back to this church again." And that was wrong. And of course, I think Bill, you helped her on that. And I'm just saying is, here was a visitor making a comment about we put up with it and we corrected it, but we all have things that embarrasses us that we think we need to control that. But that's what church is all about. And we need to deal with that. And I'm just saying, as the Holy Spirit helps us to deal with that, and we need to ask the Holy Spirit to give us, and until the Holy Spirit overrides our feelings. The Holy Spirit has to override our feelings and our understanding. All right, 1 Peter 1:2 is what? The Spirit, what? It's a word in, huh? The Holy Spirit does what? Enables us to what? To what? To obey what? The truth. Don't you fight against the truth anyway? Don't we struggle with the truth? Well, you know the truth. I probably can't tell. I don't know how long you've been in church, but I don't know that I can tell you anything that you don't already. I mean, you know the truth. We know the truth. Y'all have heard the truth for 50 years. 40 years. Y'all have heard the truth. Every one of you have heard the truth. In order to obey the truth, the Holy Spirit enables you to obey the truth. It comes from the Holy Spirit. It's not self-made. The Holy Spirit, I want to share with you, the Holy Spirit does that. You don't do it. Your flesh, the residue of your flesh, it stinks most of the time. I'm glad we got saved and got a new nature. But our flesh still fights against what we believe. We have to fight on a daily basis the residue left over from the old nature. In order to overcome the old nature's residue, is the Spirit of God enables us to overcome it in spite of us. Okay, number 37. Is it time to quit yet? Crying out loud, let's quit. We're on 36, and there's 50.
Yep.
Do you think the Holy Spirit does a lot for us?
Does.
Any questions?
I think that is exactly the verse that you need. I'd underline that in my Bible. Because what it's talking about is people loving you through the Spirit no matter what.
Right.
No matter what the problem is. They still love you because you're in the same Spirit as them, the Spirit of God.
Yep.
It isn't that you're so lovable, although I think you kind of are. But it's
No, we're
that-
talking about John.
But it's that Christians love one another no matter what the problem.
You know, charity is lovable, right?
Yeah.
You can't help, shut up. You can't help but love charity, right? But is it difficult to love me? I mean, seriously, isn't it difficult to love me? I mean, it is. If it wasn't for the Spirit saying, get over it. And I'm serious, but we're to love one another, and some are easier to love than others. And it's easy to love people who are lovable. It's not easy to love people who are not as lovable as we would like for them to be. We love them anyway. All right, let's go. Thank you, Karen. See, the Lord had you here for a reason. You're trying to figure that out too.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it around.
What's that?
We were going to a different church out on the west side, and I called my nephew, and his girlfriend's van broke down.
Wow.
So, the weather being as it is,
Right.
we just went down the road.
Wow.
So I said, let's go back to Rivers of Jordan.
Right.
So here we are.
There you are.
Keep coming back. You'd like to have him come back, wouldn't you, Charles?
More than likely. Wouldn't it, you?
Y'all see what I'm doing here?
I'd love to see what you're doing. Now that is great.
Then it comes over here.
That is
Now, I'll come
wonderful.
in here and change that from 27 to 36.
That is wonderful. That is great. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is good.
Where you come in, complete category, everything.
That is good. That is really good. You need to share that sometime. That is really good.
And that way, other people can see it and refer to it.
Absolutely. That is good.
And it's not in my handwriting, but it's printed.
Do you know, do you feel also, I love to give out notes for people who don't hate taking notes, but don't you get more out of it when you do it? When you take it and put it into, in your form, if you remember it like that, would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
That is perfect. That is absolutely positively perfect.
Well, that's how I started doing things like that.
That is so good.
The way it gets everything in perspective.
Yes.